feel it. What was it in the area of space travel? We will be a leader in space travel. And it's still there. Whether you're sweeping the floor or flying one of those aircraft, you can connect to that vision. Absolutely critical. First and foremost, separates a work group and a team. Communication. Break it down into 5 areas. One is clarity of expectations as it relates to fulfillment of that vision. Do people know what's expected of them? Sometimes the assumption that people actually know what's expected of them is erroneous. Would you agree with me on that one? Sometimes I'll ask people, how do you know they know what's expected of them? Where does it start? Job description, performance management, counseling, coaching, performance appraisal, all that linked together. Do a better job, be more loyal, be more committed, change your attitude. What's that look like? Clarity of expectations, absolutely critical. Example I use is if your kid brings home an F on a report card, what are you going to tell him or her? Get your grades up, right? Maybe something on the end of it after that. Next quarter, they bring home a D minus. I don't know about you, but I'm not after want to grab one of my kids and say, "Ah, boy," give him a wet kiss. That's my DNA. Way to go. But did they do what you asked them to do? F, D minus, not a huge leap, but definitely progress. So clarity of expectations is important. Another one, and some of the other speakers will allude to this one. 2 sides of communication. One of them I'm doing right now. What's the other side? Listening. What do you think we're better at? Talking. And if you're not talking, are you really listening? I've really worked a lot on trying to listen better, because if we're not talking, sometimes we're waiting for a break in the action. We know that person's got to come up for air. And when they do, we're going to launch into what we want to talk about. It's called storytelling. It's very normal. People do it to different extremes. People need to be listened to. It's called psychological air. Once they have that air, other needs can take place. Now, so we have clarity of expectations, listening to people, especially if they're down near the customer, down near the product, down near the service. They may have ideas that can improve the process, improve the system. Now, feedback. That's the third one. I did my thesis project on the effect of feedback on performance. Invariably improves performance. Was able to demonstrate in a laboratory experiment, if you give people information on how well they're doing, it helps them know what to do more of and what to do less of. And then I asked people in interviews and qualitative data collection, you get a lot of feedback at work? What do you think they'd say? No, I don't get any feedback at work. Well, how do you know you're doing a good job? What do they say? I'm still here and no one said anything, so I must be doing okay. Right? No one gets fired up with, I want to see you in my office. The corporate salute, you immediately go, uh-oh, what happened? I think we're taught not to give feedback. Finish the sentence. If you can't say anything nice, what happens if the feedback is not nice? Try to say it nicely. Yeah. So we need to get more comfortable giving feedback. Clarity of expectations, listening, feedback. Already heard about recognition is the next one. Greatest management principle out there is catching people doing something right on a regular basis. 4-to-1 ratio, 4 positive strokes to 1 course correction. I'm going to ask you a question. How many people have ever received a note, a card, a post-it saying, hey, nice job, way to go? You still have it? People don't throw that stuff out. And it doesn't cost a lot of money, as Kelly pointed out earlier, and you got to get to know your folks to know what they want. So you have clarity of expectations, you have listening, you have feedback, you have recognition, and this last piece is open, honest communication. There's something that's called a good news organization. Have you ever heard of that? Somebody says, how's it going? Oh, just fine, fantastic, it's going great, no problem, we got it. Where do you get the information? The bathroom meetings, the kind that you look to see whose legs are there, or the parking lot meetings, or the happy hour meetings. People need to be able to give information freely. On a rating scale, 0 being no open, honest communication, 5 being awesome, what would you give your organization right now? Give me the finger, as they say in the facilitation business. If you're anywhere near 3, you're better than most organizations. And some people say 0 doesn't quite sum it up. How about -3? Not only do we not tell the truth, we kick it around a little bit. Those 4 areas. Now, relationships. What is the glue that holds people together? You have a clear vision. People communicate around that vision. Then relationships. What is the glue that holds people together? They think you know when you have it, you know when you don't. It's trust. Put down, and this is a Stephen Covey term, emotional bank account. EBA. You want to make deposits in the emotional bank account. and don't make withdrawals. You want to avoid what my sister turned me on to, is skinny mail. It's when the bank sends you that one piece of paper and says you wrote a check for this amount, and now you have $35 less than you started with because we're charging you. An example of skinny mail in an organization is a downsizing. I was a salary training director during a downsizing at Coleman Safety and Security Products, like Coleman Coolers. And that's like walking around with a bullseye on your chest. It really is. Because some people perceive you as fat in the organization. My boss, Human Resources Vice President, said, keep your head down so it doesn't get shot off. And justify your existence on a daily basis. And I'm like, oh, thank you very much. I'm motivated now. All right, I want to move to a close. But the thing is, we went from a high-performing organization to an organization that no longer is in existence because we lost sight of our vision. Communication was strained at best. Somebody would come in and say, have a nice day today, and you'd be like, what do you mean by that? Did you hear something that I didn't hear? And there was a lot of fear. I'm going to end with one quick story, and I thank you for your attention. It takes courage to be a leader in this day and age. And a billionaire out in Phoenix, he's got 1,500 acres, beautiful house, and more land than he knows what to do with, more money he knows what to do with, and he thinks it's because he's had the courage to speak his truth and do what was right. Throws a huge party, and he challenges everybody, family and friends. Anybody that accepts this challenge, they can have all his possessions. He's filled his pool full of alligators, and anybody who's courageous enough to jump in there and make it out alive, they can have it all. Everyone's like, that's silly. Let's go in the house and eat lunch. All of a sudden, they hear a splash, and this guy's fighting for his life. He's throwing alligators on top of alligators. Lo and behold, he makes it out alive. Everybody's astonished. The billionaire is flabbergasted. He said, I've never seen such an act of courage, but I'm a man of my word. You can have anything you want. My land, my house, my money. Guy's breathing kind of heavy. He says, I just want to know one thing. Who the heck pushed me in the pool? Now, on that note, make each day count because you're trading a day of your life for it. Thank you very much.
All right.